Good day, I'm Phil Irk. I would first like to let you meet my great-granddaughter, apprentice engineer Olivia, coming up on 4 years old now, and my co-engineer Nan, my wife, of 54 years. Following this short introduction, I would like to give you a tour of my hometown of Honesdale, Pennsylvania, which we have created here in Wisconsin. I want to explain what is not historically right about the layout. Things that were modified to combine what was before and after 1900, when the Delaware and Hudson Canal and Gravity Railroad that had been operating since 1829 stopped and steam train service took over.
Okay, that's good. You wave it, Grampy?
Here it comes.
Wave it, Grampy. Can you give Grampy a wave? Say hi, Grampy.
Hi, Grampy.
Hey, honey. What's coming?
Plane.
Here it comes. Came through the tunnel. Yeah.
And there it goes. Can you make it go faster? What do you turn?
Turn it up to here, like on the spindle. Yeah, beautiful. A little bit more. No, this way. All the way down the spindle.
That's good.
That's this way. Keep going this way. There you go, that's good. Oh, it's going really fast now.
Here it comes.
Here it comes.
Highballing it.
Go, Swing.
Go train.
Yay, here it goes.
One of the largest accommodations that I had to make in doing a train layout of this area, in particular the south basin of the canal, was in what to do with the tracks going south. I knew that there was a bridged area here that actually apparently had some different types of coal loading facilities there, and I knew there was a line that came down off the hill, and I didn't quite understand how things worked until I was back in Honesdale in 2016 when I met Fred Murray at the Historical Society. And he filled me in on the way things actually were. I had to figure out how to get it south. I knew that this stonework abutment here was still in place, yet I saw no sign of a tunnel, but I couldn't figure out how to get the tracks from there down to the southern part of the basin here. So my solution was to make tunnels. But Fred pointed out the fact that the platform up here in this area actually was not down this low. It actually came up and was level with the top of this section, and then the cars would come over here and drop. Now with a train, okay, a locomotive, you can't do that because the locomotive would hang up in the air and just drop down, but the single cars could go over that and make that drop down to the level that they needed to, because they were gravity led and they were drawn by horses, not by an engine. So that was one major thing that is not correct. This track area here should go straight up over the top and then drop down into that basin area. That also means that all this nice stonework that's over here in this area, it looks nice, it's impressive, but that's not the way it was. Another accommodation that I had to make, of course, was the fact that this is a combination of what was before 1900 and what was after 1900. Right before 1900, the canal basin was filled in and everything went to train, locomotive train. But I needed to do a composite, so I had to have a way for the tracks to come out. So all this lower basin here with the tracks coming down this way and going across onto a bridge and going around and making a circle for the layout, that's not accurate. In fact, I'm going to stop for a second and move this down. This area here is not exactly correct either. If you were to look at this picture here, I hope it goes into focus, you'll notice that the platform comes and stops right here, and it's at an angle. I couldn't do that and make a circular track and have the train go out, so I kept this section straight and then of course made a ramp going down. Otherwise this would have come in this way and stopped, and this would have been street level. And if you see in some of the historical pictures, you'll find barges lined up all along this side of the Main Street buildings, and actually it's like this side is actually a main street, or even maybe the main entrance. I don't know how it really was at the time. So this is not correct. Other than that, I think almost everything else is pretty close to the way it should be. So those are just a few accommodations. The hillside I took off of this photograph, okay, of the hillside. I put it into the computer and then divided it up into about 26 or so different sections, little rectangles, and took each one and then put stuff into it, buildings and cropland and other things, roads and hedgerows and stuff, to make my hillside. The hillside, of course, is just printed out then in different sections, okay, and then actually Mod Podge together for the most part. And the buildings are buildings that either I found buildings of Honesdale or buildings that I could use that look something like the building in the black and white picture, which wasn't easy because it's so small, but I did my best to reconstruct the hill. So the buildings on the north end we'll talk about a little bit later, but starting here, what would now be Gravity Street, okay, where the rails went up there to the other side. That first building was a D&H building, and then the rest of the buildings going up the hill for the most part were family or otherwise. There are some other D&H buildings involved here.